Now, I've suggested before on this show that the Formula One midfield's budget and pace problems could be alleviated by new rules that would allow them to design unique aero shapes around chassis constructed by companies like Dallara. But this idea, for political reasons, is always a difficult sell. Williams' Paddy Lowe, for example, reckons that taking the Dallara route would save no money at all, on the basis that you'd still have to spend a fortune developing the car. And the pack in general, the midfield pack, believes that building their own cars with all the personnel, facilities and money that requires is a sort of badge of Formula One honour that protects them from attacks by the next generation of team owners who've proved their worth in Formula 2 or perhaps even in IndyCar. Personally, I think that's both unhealthy for the sport and short-sighted. And so I put the question to the man best able in the world to evaluate the effectiveness or otherwise of having Dallara doing your build work for you. I put it to Gunther Steiner, team principal of the Haas Ferrari team, that interestingly enough has this year been frequently at the front of the so-called midfield. How would you describe, without going into numbers, how would you describe your budget, your running costs for the year?
I mean, I don't want to give a number for obvious reasons, but I think we are at the lower end. I think we are. I don't know exactly other people's budget, but it's the speculations I know, and we are there at about with the other lowest ones, maybe a few million up or down. But there's a few teams in that league, but for sure we are not in the midfield of budget. We are in the low field of budget.
And now comes the question I've always wanted to ask you. If you had from day one designed and built your own car with no cooperation with Dallara, would you have spent a lot more money to get to where you are now?
I think I wouldn't say only with Dallara. I think the key is Ferrari. Ferrari is more key than Dallara. For sure Dallara is a big help as well, but the experience, yes, to answer your question straight, we would have spent a lot more and we would have not succeeded. Because it's so difficult. Formula One at this in these times is so difficult to start from nothing. You need a lot more money, a lot of a bigger infrastructure, which obviously costs attached, a lot of more people, resources with costs attached. So we would have spent a lot more, not being assured that we could have had the little success we had up to now.
Is there anywhere in the medium to long term a plan to do your own car?
I mean, we're doing actually our own car. With Dallara, we collaborate.
Yeah, but what I mean is a car without Dallara. Build the whole car yourself.
I mean, in the short term, no, the straight answer, because we have got a good plan for that one. Because in the end, we still design the car, our people. We have help from Dallara, and they produce it like some other suppliers could. But in the moment, Dallara is doing a good job. Why should we change a winning team?
And I presume legally, a new team couldn't, or even an existing team, couldn't now go to Dallara and say, we want to do a Haas model, we want you to build our car for us.
No, it would be possible.
That would be possible,
because
you don't have an exclusive
Dallara
with them.
is just a supplier.
Right.
Haas is the constructor. So Haas
I assumed you would have had an exclusive in Formula One for that.
With them, with
Yes,
Dallara.
yes.
If somebody goes to Dallara, it's over a period of time. I mean, as long as we are there, Dallara, if we don't agree, could not build a car for somebody else for obvious reason, because we took a lot of know-how to Dallara, our people, which we employ.
No, but let me rephrase the question. Yeah. If there was a wall and a new team or an existing team said, to our own design, we want Dallara to build this car, we want to use Dallara's manufacturing infrastructure, could they do it next year or 2 years' time, or would they can only do it with your permission?
I think they could do part of it because Dallara is such a big company, and in manufacturing, I would not have a problem that they do it. I would have. I mean, we have contracts in place that they couldn't do the engineering because otherwise they could use our know-how. And but in manufacturing, I think, and again I don't know because I don't run Dallara. Dallara does work for other F1 teams in manufacturing.
Yes, they do. Obviously not complete chassis, but nonetheless they do. I take your point about Ferrari, but it's no more or less than the contribution Mercedes make to Force India, for example.
I'm not fully aware what they do for them.
It would be similar, though.
Yes, it is similar, maybe a little bit less than we do, but I mean, they have their
maybe they don't have quite the same arrow, but nonetheless they have a lot of cooperation.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the Dallara things of interest. And I ask that because personally I've always felt that one of the ways to make the midfield stronger in Formula One and to reduce costs is to follow your model. And it doesn't, of course, there are other companies. Dallara is not the only company in the world anyway. And you've proved that doing it this way is
not only efficient, but also, as you've just said, probably cheaper than doing a complete operation from zero. And that's something that I'd love to see in the future. If you think about the great teams in Formula 2, if you think about Prema, if you think about Russia, whatever it is, those teams with their operations, with their people, working with Dallara, with the right budgets, could start to put it together if they were allowed to.
I don't know how strong these teams are on the technical side. We had to take on quite a few people. I mean, the biggest thing is the aerodynamics, the development of an aero team. But the rest, you know, and I think there is somebody will find a better model than we did. It's always something better. That's my opinion. You know, you always can. People see this, don't copy it. Just go the next step, like we did. We did something new, and in the beginning we were, I would not say critiqued, but we were told that we will fail because it will never work. But it worked. Again, maybe somebody comes up with some new idea, a better one, and I think that's evolution. The rules change, the sport changes. So if the budget cap is coming, maybe there is even a better solution than we had. But at the time, I think our one was good. I will never say that this is the best ever solution because there's always something better.